people of the aware age, we see the purpose of media. I call it a Pied Piper thing. They want every new human to have an infatuation with whatever's going to take them along that path. Because it's a culture, it's a business of exporting a culture and ensuring that there's a constant customer for whatever it is, consumption of products. Essentially, it's a culture. Consumption of a culture that leads to destruction. And there's a desire to always ensure that the youth is infatuated with it, so that they become the customers of the future. Whether it's hip hop, whether it's alcohol, all of these things are normalized, and they do what they can to appeal to the young mind. When we say the youth is really the new consciousness. It is the consciousness of the human being. You were once a youth. You probably stared at the screen and watched MTV. Okay, you were watching these movies. You wanted to be like the superheroes. Wherever it is, you're infatuated with it. It's exported its culture to you. You are part of that culture. We can say this for the blacks, who are exported a destructive culture to them. On the screen, they have an image of themselves, someone who looks like them. They are told to identify with this image. Perhaps they end up identifying with it. They're captured by its story, by whatever delusion it's selling them. They are convinced that it's their culture. They manifest it. They participate in it. But there is this theme of the power of the image. Okay. So there's this theme of, one, the image, its power in regards to identity, but also in regards to capturing the attention. But along with this thing, it seeks to drag people along its path to wherever it's going. It's a Pied Piper technology. Now, I'm going to get into the point of this video. Again, the allure of the screen. It will try to capture you by any means necessary. Okay, so for example, we're going to utilize the image of women. Let's just look at the reality. The image of women is captured, and within it exists a new creation. It's to be a reflection and projection of man's lowest desire. The image of the woman is captured. Again, prior to the age of AI and image generation, the image of woman in its degraded form could not exist without a participant, without a woman, human being, actively giving herself to the industry to be utilized, to be depicted in whatever way, lustful way, degraded way. And again, the infatuation with the young mind, the male mind, the youth, they are glued to this realm in which they can view this, they can witness this, they can participate in this fantasy. Now we have to accept that all of these female celebrities, etc., all of these female icons, idols, for the purpose of capturing the young male, it is really the lust. Now, whether the girls see that, perhaps they are blind to that. The young girl sees someone to look up to, someone who's pretty, etc. However, within the individual who is required to give up their image, wherever you exist in this digital space, you're required to give up your image, and it's not you who really has great control over it. If you are a celebrity, you are signing a contract. They will create your image, they will create your brand, they will create your identity. But you are required to give up your image to be depicted, and they will make you a star. Okay? And most likely in the eye of the woman or girl, she's been fed a narrative of, especially if you're participating in the degrading depiction of your image, you're fed a narrative that you're empowering yourself, you're an inspiration to young girls. Again, this devilish system will appeal to your ego. You're going to be loved, you're going to be desired, you're going to be the envy, you're going to inspire young girls, wherever it is. They just feed you a fantasy. You sign a contract and you are utilized for your image. You are the music, the Pied Piper music that will keep the minds, the attention infatuated with the screen. infatuated with the culture, if it's hip hop, infatuated with the movies. Because I really looked at this and I said, look, every generation, think about, okay, I'm in my late 20s. Think about the women of, you know, let me slow down. When I watch movies, I look and I look at the way women were utilized, and they were just utilized as eye candy. Okay, in all these movies, they served no purpose. Think about the Transformers movie with Megan Fox. They serve no purpose. But where are these women now? Where are half the Megan Foxes, the Megan Goods, the Britney Spears? Once these lot get old and dusty, they dash them. They say, look, you cannot capture the attention anymore. We're on to new, younger women, new, younger girls. Their business continues on. So for the women, their participation with this industry is just to be churned, to be used. Your image is utilized. You know, you are this rattling toy that allures people to the screen, captures the attention. You're depicted in a lustful way. And then after you're old and done, they discard you. Okay? And then we just get another young one. We just get another young one. Where are all the women of the past that were on all the movies of the 2000s? They can lie and say, oh, I'm retired now. I'm you know, I've got kids now. I don't act anymore. But at the end of the day, the industry is its own spiritual entity. And it is utilizing the image. Okay, now that we've got AI and image generation, obviously we know where that's heading. But for those who had signed those contracts, they were signed to be used and depicted in ways. I watched a interview with this girl. She's from London. She's young. I think her name's like Anna Sign. She was in the Furiosa movie, and I'm watching her as she's doing an interview with Conan O'Brien or whatever his name is, or one of those interviews. And it's just like the way she was dressed. It's like she has to dress like that. They dress her in that way. She has no choice in it. She's just a puppet. She's meant to be the lady in red. She's meant to be the sex symbol. Yeah, to capture the attention. But, you know, you're interacting with something that is not conscious. The depictions, the images of the people, it's not people. You know, they're not allowed to be people. They just follow the stylist. They follow, you know, the whole celebrity. Their identity is created by the industry. Okay, so let me find some points. Yeah, so for the girls of the future, or let's root this back to the black community, because the sexy reds, the Sukihanas, whatever, it's like they sign these contracts, or they sign to the industry. I'm not going to say contract. They sign with the devil to give their image to be utilized for these degrading versions of black people, in which they are characters or caricatures, or whatever the word is, for a lifestyle, a culture, which is meant to get the attention of the young mind, young black girls, young black boys. They see that, you know, they're just here new in reality. They see themselves depicted on the screen as these characters. You know, think that they're new to reality and this is what they're seeing. Okay, they believe this to be their culture, but really and truly, the person, the Sukihana, the sexy red, the Ice Spice, they represent unconscious entities. Okay, they've signed to give their image. They've signed to give their image to be depicted in these ways for the reward. I mean, we don't really know what's within their spirit. We don't know how low they are. We don't know why they do what they do. We don't even know if they're conscious themselves. But, you know, within this poor culture, there'll be those who give their image for whatever it is, reward, love, attention. They give their image to be depicted in a degrading way, to be utilized by this industry, to present themselves as being this culture, so that the new black youth, new to this reality, learn of themselves via the images that they see on the screen, believe these to be real people, continue to be, you know, they have the lowest of the low, degraded characters summoning lust, so that you are infatuated with the image, infatuated with the screen, and you become the continuation of this culture. You believe it to be your culture because you've seen yourself on the screen, you've seen the other black person, you've seen everyone of your youth culture infatuated with this and replicating it, and you believe it to be you, but it's a demon. You know, who is the Sexy Red? Who is the Ice Spice? These all are soulless, really and truly. When you sign yourself to give yourself to the industry, and you can see they have to continuously degrade themselves and be these characters, the person is unconscious. The person is soulless. Whether Sexy Red or whoever, you know, they speak out against this stuff, they're not allowed to. They're not allowed to. That's not what you interact with when you turn on the screen. When you log onto YouTube, you see the dead character. It is a dead character. So going into AI, when AI can generate images, when AI can generate a whole person, when you can have AI generated music artists, it's like, what are they? They are dead. They've captured the image. And imagine, you know, you have an AI rapper talking about lean and drugs and doing what, it's just like, you just have to sit there and be like, what what is this? What is speaking to me? You know, you understand why a human says lean and drugs, but then when the AI rapper, if it happens too quickly, you just have to step back and zoom and be like, what am I interacting with? What is speaking to me? You know, that would just wake people up too quickly if they were to rush into that. But you know, the capture of the image and the way it affects the new mind, especially when we talk about exporting a culture, you know, they wish for you to be part of this culture, the drug culture, the hip hop culture, because most of what, you know, there's two sides to it. The reality is that what comes with it is a path to destruction, to self-destruction. Okay, but again, it's packaged up nicely and part of a fantasy. The rapper lifestyle is a fantasy. The success of the degraded Sukihana female black image, that leads to the self-destruction, but that's not what's sold. They sell it to you as you gain liberation, gaining freedom, you're independent. But you know, they sell you the fantasy, but what comes with it is destruction. Okay? But it all comes down to capturing the image. Again, we're still at an age where people are signing to be part of this industry. You know what I mean? They're giving up their image. They're giving up their black image. If they were grey, they could do whatever they want. If they were grey, they could do whatever they want. They can sign up and be, you know, fools. But they have the black image. And there are still today people who continue to sign up, give their image to the screen, give their image to the industry, should I say, to be depicted on the screen, to export an idea of a culture or idea of a black identity, so that the new minds of reality who do not have that discernment cannot see the emptiness of these images, of these people. And they will, you know, the culture is continued to propagate. The destructive culture, the manifestation of it is a destructive culture that is packaged up within a fantasy of actually, the screen says the participation with this lifestyle, wherever it is that's trying to sell you, leads to some glory or leads to some riches or fame. But the reality is, once you see past that smoke, once you see past that illusion, it only leads to self-destruction. We can look at, for me, I woke up when I was looking at 2010 or the early 2000s and MTV and 50 Cent and all these rappers. They had such control over the youth. They were so influential. But here we are, X amount of years later, and what did any of that stuff produce? What is your infatuation with all these music videos, Young Thug, the Lil Waynes? It's just entertainment. It was just entertainment that really just kept you occupied. What did it produce? Did the black community benefit from an infatuation with any of that stuff? To be here in mid 2020s, what did it produce? The hip hop culture. It really, you could even say it's a continuation of the path from 80s conscious hip hop to 90s gangster rap or whenever it was. It's just a continuation that really has led nowhere. It's led nowhere, if I'm honest. So what purpose did it serve? And I'm trying to find a point here. This is why I'm actually in real life pausing. I'm editing it out, but I'm pausing and trying to find the point. Yeah, I can't actually remember the point, but it doesn't even matter. Again, for really right now, you have both the male black participants who give up their image to be utilized, as well as the girls, the women. You really have to reflect on this divine image made in the image of God, and you're giving it to be utilized to an industry, and you see how they use it. You can go check the latest Sexy Red video and just see how stupid it is. And they literally do it intentionally, because it is both so ridiculous that it attracts attention, but it also appeals to the lower desire. You're signing to give your image, you're allowing it to be depicted in such a unconscious way, and there are consequences for yourself as an individual and for everyone who participates in the consumption of these images and falls for the trick. The trick is for the new minds into reality who don't know that these are empty, essentially like demons. They're just empty. You're looking at someone, a black person who you think is reflective of you, but it's just a character. It's not allowed to be conscious. It's to take the viewer on a path to destruction if they believe that to be real, if they get too caught up in that fantasy. But this is the last part I was going to say. But you have to be very aware of where you're giving your image, because social media, even you don't even understand what agreement you're making, you're signing when you give your image. Okay, you may think, you're doing fitness videos, but at the end of the day, if you're an Instagram model, you're giving your image, and you have to think about in the way it's being consumed. If you're depicting yourself in certain ways, you're participating in this idea, this fantasy, or participating in self-degradation. Just be conscious of this digital realm that you're interacting with, whether you're a model, whether, just how you're given the image to be used. You want it to be connected to consciousness. You want it to be divinely reflected. Don't give your image to be used by the devil system, because the devil seeks to, I call it the devil, but it's really a darker aspect of the human mind that doesn't really respect this place. And they seek to, again, the devil cannot create. It can only manipulate, create illusions. So as you can see, the recreation of the image of the human, the woman, and the man as it exists within the digital realm is a soulless recreation. That is, it's not what you should seek. It's not what you should seek to replicate or manifest within your own life. So, I'm going to end that there. I got a little song to play. I don't know if I played it at the beginning, but this song was made by AI. I just wrote the lyrics, and I thought it was quite good, because it sounds real.
Young girl, nothing comes for free.